sleepy.
Sleepy.
So yeah, it could be that as well. Could be that. We did notice that like previous days, like after the break, some players start to yawn. It's like, oh, I'm so full
Oh
now. Oh
yeah.
no, I can't think.
Okay, we haven't seen anybody yawn just now, right? For the first
Not
half.
yet.
The moment we hit into the second half, I agree. That's where they feast themselves all together. I'm loving how they're, you know what? If you're having a fast or not, they're just gonna grouping up together, just group up together and just have a very good dinner all together the same. But speaking of the second half, definitely we'll have a bit of a yawn. But on this circle, Jogopool, we haven't seen any Jogopool circle yet by far. Do correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, not at all. Not yet. So far, we've seen it move up north to the areas of shooting range. That's about it. But not inside of Jogopool, either the north or the south. But let's check out what's going to happen here as Hale will nade down Yen for sure. That's going to be a straightforward toss by Tiger. Nothing much that Yen can do. Definitely going to be first blood for Hale Esports.
Impressive. That's quite clean coming up from Tiger. It's like he's not even moving. For DBD, Yan, I'm not sure. It's like, are you there just to stand? Because it was a perfect toss. Feels like casually just doing coming up from Tiger, nothing more than that.
Yeah. I guess sometimes it's like you kind of freeze, right? But you look at DBD, they're number 19. Below them is Team Secret. So confidence not at their best. So I guess that when you go up against an opponent 1v1, you're not at that peak level of confidence. Your confidence kind of low, so that's what kind of happened. And that is where I do hope that Mosgoku, he's also being the coach for DBD, is able to bring that confidence back to the team because they seem to be lacking of it. Even like the previous round, if you remember Echo,
Yeah.
he opened up the flag. Basija was coming in, but he didn't do anything.
I agree. I feel like they are in the same boat as Team Secret. They lost their navigation. They lost their objective. They're being blinded entirely about what's their navigation or what they want to do. Feels like they need the compass back. And for the side of Secret, at least the compass worked temporarily for a bit. It gave impact. It gave sort of drive for them where to go for eye shots, getting into the lineup. For DBD, feels like exactly the same here. They kind of have the willingness to have the kills. They want to go. They're thirsty enough for those eliminations, but nobody willing to stand for and take the lead, as per se. There's nobody want to take the entirety of the team to see it on from third perspective view and just command it. They don't have the one that actually the compass of navigating the sails.
Yeah, and if you remember back then when Mosgoku plays, he's known as the circle buyer. He's always able to so-called quote-unquote buy the circle. Well, of course, not in reality, not literally, but he's always able to like, okay, he kind of knows where to go, where's the best position to be at, how to enter the circle the best. So yeah, I think like DBD, like what you say, right? They're in the same position as Team Secret now. If Team Secret can do it, putting eye shots in, I will call for Mosgoku to be playing.
I worry for Mosgoku. He haven't been playing tournament for quite a bit now. He's a very entertaining guy. I just hope he doesn't treat it like a stream because sometimes when you stream more than you play in a tournament, you tend to forget. And you play like you're streaming. That's where everything gets very comical. But I think Mosgoku do have the discipline. So yeah, I think they needed him. They need the boost of morale coming up from the coach himself, coming up from DBD. But will it be too late, Cloud? If that happens, today will be the perfect day. The second half, if they want to switch, that's going to be perfect timing. Because if not, if you want to drag into the final week to see if there's anything still can be fixed, it's not going to happen.
You know what? If you ask whether it's too late or not, you can't think about it with their current position. How worse can it get? they might as well just throw all the cards on the table.
Agree. Last week wasn't that great either. They were at the bottom too. So it feels like there are high chances for them to get relegated here. Very risky. Now, today and tomorrow, there's going to be a final. I mean, like, if they want to drag until final week and just realize, oh, we should have done this last week. At least final week they have a time to catch up, right? But if they don't try it this week, then who knows?
Yeah, that's why to me it's like just put all the cards on the table now. Just like what Team Secret is doing. I mean, they are in the same boat. Oh my goodness, we can go on and on with these two teams. But if you look at what GE is doing, even though they don't have a substitution, but somehow they managed to pick themselves up. Somehow they managed to like, okay, we can do it, guys, and they're climbing up, and this gives them hope of getting out of the bottom 16.
I'm loving how they go back to the basics, back to its what's need to fix. If there are any sort of fundamentals that they got it wrong, GE definitely have a bit of a hurdle between themselves. We saw they be talking amongst each other when there's a break. The coach came in within that 5 minutes of downtime for the players to discuss between the games. They really make a comeback. If you compare them with last week, extremely at their worst place possible. And this week is just way better. What a progress, a huge jump come from GE. If GE can do it, why can't DBD?
Exactly, right? Yeah, I think GE is the success stories for now. But let's see what happens to PBE. One of the teams that's also down there. RQ Asa almost getting it, but thanks to the high ground, he'll get away. Even PBE is doing better now. Yeah, they do have slumps, but in essence, if they are able to be consistent enough, maybe they'll be able to do the great escape.
For the past few rounds, PBE, they have been eliminated early on. They always clash with another team, trying to force a fight too often. But Alter Ego now playing in the blue zone. I'm not liking this too much coming up from Alter Ego. They usually play in the middle zone, not really the center, but at least whether at the rim of a circle, barely into the blue zone as much. But this time, they're playing it very late. I'm not sure if they have something else in mind, trying to experiment on some stuff, because that's what they are doing for the other teams as well. But CJ is taking this very late too, surprisingly. I have a feeling, maybe it's just my hunch, maybe it's just my opinion, they studied across the entire week of what happened for each of the regions when it comes to rotation. Like we're talking about Hill and the rest of Thai always taking the center, right? Now there's always going to be the center of the Thai teams. There's always going to be there. The one that coming in very late is going to be the Malaysians. Are they trying to experiment if they can bulldoze the teams in the blue zone while walking towards the center? After studying how many teams out there love to play alongside the blue zone.
I think they tried that yesterday. We saw it 7-9, we saw Team Secret, but it didn't work out for them because I think they couldn't find the right timing. When they did that, then they always get third party by another team. So it's something that it doesn't seem to be comfortable for them. Despite, yeah, it's nice to see teams here trying something else because they're in a dire position. But it's not. But it's still something that they need to fine tune. And it's the first day that they sort of switch up their strategy. So it's a lot of fine tuning to do. At least they have today's break to see whether they can continue to do that tomorrow or they switch to something else. GE, as usual, they like the high ground and they're very good at that. With this kind of circle, they can play on the Gadka Mountain. But then they don't seem to be stopping. So not the team that likes to take fights early.
They can actually just park it there right now. They had it before and then chased out by FaZe back then. No, Bacon Time. Lucky enough, Bacon Time's not here. Sort of GE, I think they're a bit reluctant about taking those Gadka Mountains, but DBD splitting into three, getting themselves a warehouse and building. Kick on the other hand, parked just right across. How do they respond? It's going to be a three-way wall. That's one thing for sure right now. The axe, DBD, and the kick. Dan could be shooting from afar. Forcing the split to the side of Gigsley is not great. They're splitting into 2-1-1. And Hill happened to be there. Well, surprisingly, it's going to be 5 teams on top of it.
One of the prime positions for sure. But oh, okay. Damn good. They were searching for a location to be in, but there's just so many teams. I guess that's kind of what happens if like you want to go in the center, but you don't rotate fast enough, and there are other faster teams. And plus the circle, it's not really that far from a lot of teams that naturally drop around that area. So naturally, they would take those positions first. So Gig State have to deal with the rest of this round, playing without their captain.
Sometimes retreating is not about losing. It's not saying that you're weak. Sometimes retreating is a strategy. It's all about timing here. It's all that they need to align for all the teams out there. The timing is always off. It's just unfortunate days sometimes. But CJ Evos on the other hand links against South in the center. Now I personally not a big fan this day for those playing in the blue zone, because we do know for a fact the circle getting quicker and faster than before. Plus, whoever plays in the blue zone, if you notice, they hardly get themselves any chicken or even get themselves any sort of eliminations. It's really tough if you don't go aggressive for this season, because you do know for a fact the point is just heavily favoring those actions.
I'm going to keep my eye on the procedure EVOS. So, because they played in the blue, they're playing a little bit slower. I think because they're trying to anticipate whether like the circle will go more to the north or more to the south. So, let's see with this kind of play style, what would they get out of it? So, I think that would be a good benchmark for them, since procedure was really confident. But speaking about confidence, BTR confident against SLD.
BTR trying to redeem themselves, having a bit of redemption from the last map just now. Origin and SLD, 2 on the outskirts, making 1 spot fire at the back line, the other 3 going in for the rush. Chuanji finish off 1 player and now coming in as a whole. SLD goes to just sliding in there, and Yuhai slither of health remains.
Wow.
Less than 1 HP and that's it. BTR, what is happening?
Well, the entertaining thing from that was Yuhai's Parker work through the vehicle, but other than that, 0 from BTR. Just when we thought that, okay, they had a decent round, and now 0 points. It's just too bad.
2 maps in a row. We're talking about back-to-back. The performance has been very questionable. Last map, one of the first few teams to go down. Being picked off 1 by 1. Not able to clutch in the last minute. Not even having enough. Forcing the fight too early. Feels like they're doing the same thing here. Rinse and repeat coming up from BTR.
Yeah, I mean, BTR, star-studded team, but down there as well. So even PBE still alive, has an opportunity to overtake them. If that happens, then it's a blow towards BTR. Even GE is on top of them right now, same points, but because GE they got I believe they got more placement points. That's why they're still alive. They're on top. But speaking about GE, high ground being taken over by Void.
One showing how desperate they want those eliminations. They're forcing GE to give away this compound. They know for a fact there's going to be so many teams passing over the side of Gakka Mountains due to the circle on the northern side. But GE, Master Ichi and the rest of them willing to part ways. You know what? You want it, you take it. We're not willing to go for unnecessary fights too early. Void on the other hand split it into 3-1. It's so famous this, they're played by so many players with the 3-1 formation. One going for the furthest flank away, the other 3 going on a triangle formation. That's the strategy and the meta these days being played by the players. But for GE, they responded with going away, but Procedure Evos compressed on the other corner. No way out, hammed down GE between 2 titans of Indonesian team. Procedure Evos and Void closing in together, and the circle happened to go onto a side of phase.
Ooh, a majority of the circle at the bottom. GE, not the type of team that likes to fight head on, so they will leave the high ground for now, leaving it to Void. Procedure Evos on the other side. And I gotta think about it, Procedure Evos, they were at shooting range. And that's the reason why they play on the outside of the circle on the blue, because when the circle shifts, they can go down. And right now, you can see a couple of teams stuck with each other. Jimmy OP, gunned down by snipes from Geekslate.
Stone and SLD, their eyes onto the side of Alter Ego. They have smokes for Alter Ego, yes they do. They need to get out from here, need to swim over the other side, going for South Jogo Pool instead. Stone and SL are giving the pressure and just denying their mobility, flattening out their tires. Our face caught themselves in a bit of a maze of the contenders. You Lines happens to be there. A lot of teams right on top of Jogo Pool. I'm talking about 6 to 7 teams right at the same compound.
Ooh, yes. I'm seeing it colorful as well. FaZe Clan, they need the points to catch up on the Procedure Evos. Gotta do it right now. Looks like a long range of the Procedure Evos as Lynx. His teammate's too far away. Too late for them to pick him up, and Luxy, Zuxi The max is that they're just going to go and pick up loot from his box, but is it going to be worth it considering the fact that Xavier has eyes onto the box?
As this time we're looking at Rosemary popping off again. Taking a fight against another team. But for FaZe, he'll utilize GE. The moment anybody try to cross over to the side of Hill, they're going to be shot down by these guys. They know exactly which angle to hold on to. It's going to be an open street and open for the moment they cross as well. RQ taking down on Ghost to SLD. There's going to be a bit of a problem. There's going to be the entry frag being finished off. DBD pop the smokes, making sure they will just cover themselves from Procedure Evos, but Red Face from afar. What a crispy tap.
Ooh, what a nice long-range tap there. He couldn't even react from that. But because of his non-reaction, now Boss Gaming wants to come in. But Boss Gaming on the outside of the circle, they will go through the high ground. But Prestige Evos inside, gotta be careful there. They are circling around the high grounds of Garkai. Another team on the left end. Looks like Boss Gaming will need to pray for their safety.
Oh, Box. There's nowhere for them. They got Box in by themselves. What were they thinking going in like that as a crash heads into the side of the maze of FaZe? And split it into two to Box. They just caught themselves in a crossfire. A major one at that. Just being punished entirely by sort of FaZe here. Secures 3 for now. Mela will secure 4 if they finish off Box player. Capone and Shuna stuck in between there. Hoping to not be discovered by FaZe and utilized on the other end. JE taking over this area as well. Everybody crowding over this side of Jungle Pool. Due to the circle just happens to be shifting. It's a bit of a maze area. Really tough to play the angles. Whether you're shooting or you're hunting. Or you're just trying to run. But for Procedure Evos and Void, both not willing to give away Gakka Mountain. Both I will not be in the circle.
By Void now, and looks like Void, they're having the advantage by taking out Red Face. Oh, was that a splat? Vince? Finish off Red Face, and yes, it was a splat by Luxie onto Lapa, but Luxie got 2 in fact. And now Zuxi will need to clean it up. Luxie is currently down, Zuxi with a nade. Can he get another knockdown onto Void? That nade, will it land? It should land nicely though, but evaded by Maxius.
Oh boy, Zuxi, so much to clutch this one out. 1v2. Vince didn't manage to get revived here. Zuxi managed to avoid from those radius coming up from the grenades. But Zuxi, he wants to save Luxi a bit too far. Maxius finish off straight away. Keenan and Maxius. Maxius slither of health remains while Keenan start to push. Maxius need to heal himself, but Zuxi not willing to bow down yet. He's still got a lot of fight in him, but not so much he's running. He's gonna go for the run.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be worth it for him to continue to tank the blue. And now, his second mission is getting to the circle, but look at the amount of colors around him. You got like one team on the left, one team on the right, one team on high ground. Where's he going to go from there? We move over to the other side, which is the bridge. It's going to be the choke point for some of the teams that are still on the northern side, including SLD.
A lot of players resort to swimming. SLD and RIQ feels like they're having a bit of a swimming buddy session. NASA definitely head towards in. Here comes Alter Ego join in as well. Vampire do have the healing inside of the buggy. In the water. Deep down below. But Vampire Stone, Slither of Hell remains. Z-Axe taking on DBD. Well, we do have DBD finally being eliminated now. That's going to be back to the topic that we mentioned earlier on. So many factors affecting their performance. But Alter Ego Rosemary trying to play the angle to the side of Vampire while the others swim over. Spotted out one Newsy. Now maybe a Tony K's next contender. Stone on the ground as well. Shrubs at the back line. Arkin and Pego taking on another player on the back side. But Rosemary managed to avoid that. Negate does damage. But Fnatic barely after Ego. Such a long time for Rosemary to buy time for them. He's stalling for the team.
Oh, jumped into the water so he can pull up his weapon. Probably getting information about Rosemary with a nade on his own. This nade could land perfectly for him. But it looks like he's going to keep that nade for now. Okay, that nade tossed on. But then again, it will not connect. Rosemary needs to reset. He has no more first aid, so he's dependent on his boosters.
No utilities, no HP items. All that's left is going to be he himself, his confidence. There goes Rosemary getting on one, but being knocked down by a set of Shrek. But lucky enough, the rest of Alter Ego finally dogged themselves up. Rosemary stole so much for the entirety. He pulled the entirety against vampires. Now can the rest pull their own weight? Alter Ego need to make sure they win this fight after so much sacrifice on the side of Rosemary, but Void eliminated next. Alter Ego and Tony K exchange nades, but both in the dire need to make a move.
Ooh, looks like, is there a long range there?
Oh,
so it looks like it's
boy.
Vampire Fanatic. Okay, someone shot onto Vampire. Okay, SLD, they got one for themselves. Alright, everything just happened that fast. But anyway, looks like it is SLD from the other side, putting pressure onto RRQ.
Not gonna lie, I'm super disappointed coming from Alter Ego, but RRQ Asa never failed to deliver the long distance. Finish off goes to PBE, taking their time to just get into the sweet zone of a circle. Not rushing things, not being too reckless. They know for a fact they had the same mistake in the last game. Now taking their own time to wait for the other team to rotate first. RRQ having sort of the same mindset. They're coming up from the northeast side. Not many teams out there, but they definitely have a street to cross over the other end. Hill and the rest taking this compound, taking a maze. It's a lot of things going in this maze right now.
And Yudo Alliance losing man against Hill, but okay, nice trade there by Yudo Alliance. They finally win that fight. Hill, 4 eliminations, and FaZe Clan, the top 3 team that is still alive now. Right now, we can see the movement for PBE. Can they take advantage of that?
What? PBE positions compromise, spot down, first contact, and finish off straight away from these guys. FaZe, they've been holding the maze of Jogo for the longest time there is. They ring around Rosie, a lot of angles to turn things around, but Ranked is going to be the best time to use DBS. This is the best place to use DBS right now from these guys.
Only Ranked as well. Don't see it yet from him. RRQ, crossfire from the other side. Onto GE. GE still within the container area. But GE needs to reset as well. FaZe Clan just next to Ranked. I don't think they know that Ranked is inside of that. But anyway, FaZe Clan, they can't simply come out of that area. If they do, then they might be shot down from GE or maybe RRQ even.
If you guys happen to be a Squid Games fans, you know for a fact the container will be one of Squid Games times last time. But here comes the others. You have to check every containers to make sure it's empty. And this is why I talked about the best place for DBS. The moment you turn a corner, just open fire. You don't have a care will if there's somebody there or not. You will pre-fire first. Box managed to knock down a Mela, but it's not difficult for FaZe to regroup and just reset themselves. There's so many angles for them to take coverage from.
Yeah, one of who's going to be the clothless, handsome Japanese guy. But anyway, I know the reference. Anyway, it's going to be RRQ and Vampire. Let's go again by the ledge.
Oh man, down to 3 players for Vampires. Now Stone's got finished off early. Managed to knock on down. Tony K getting Asa. With 1 mod remains, Mika taking on RRQ and Peko. Oh, what are the odds of Vampires being saved by Kick at the same time? And RRQ charged by 2 team down. And that's just it. Mod bleeding out. Hoping for the last member to help. It's going to Voldemort. Mod and Voldemort. Got the time.
Right.
But can they make it? Feels like really tough here.
The name has been confusing for a couple of seasons now. Voldemort. It looks like they're trying to get away. Oh, and the circle happened to shift behind them. So now, from not having the circle advantage, now they do have the circle advantage. Now, it's for Vampire's turn to come towards RRQ.
I just hope they don't slip down, but that's the moment where Mort slips down entirely. But they're being chased a hack, but it's so close. Before the pursuit side of Vampires, they will not let this flee easily. They will not let them go easily. No mercy being shown, but when it comes to the maze game here, we do have Yudo Alliance taking the entire maze by themselves. A different contenders area taken by Gixlay and Box Gaming. Feels like a horror movie right now. And when you turn an angle, you turn a corner, it's going to be your enemy. Those DBS make wonderful plays. Just pre-fire. And whenever you turn a corner, just open fire for once. Maybe you get a knockdown, maybe you're not. It's going to be down to luck as well.
Wow, but it's down to 2v4 here. RRQ, Vampire. Can they do it? Yes, gameplay for more. But left, right, there's just too much for him to handle. Now down to Voldemort, and that's going to be an easy cleanup there for Vampire. They will slide into the circle, play by the ledge, away from the other teams.
It's going to be the bane of the Indonesian team, the Vampires, for now. Suddenly rising back to their standards in the last minute before we're heading into a long break. Vampires going aggressive. 7 eliminations by far. We're down to 6 teams, and the closest we get to 7 is going to be phase 5, another Thai team.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Looking good, and plus, they have 3 players. Man, it's looking good for them. But okay, I'm still gonna give a little bit hope to GE because they still have a full squad. Let's go GE, wildcard team to get that chicken dinner if they can do it. But it's gonna be a big challenge for them because they're in between a couple of teams. But at least the good news is that they are in the middle of the circle.
Oh, the Blues happen to be shrinking on this side, and Starknet got cornered by both sides as well. Oh man. He's prepared himself the DBS.
Okay.
You definitely see Kaboom coming. Here comes the boss! Bam. And there he goes. This is why DBS is so good here.
Oh, yeah. In that kind of distance, it's definitely good. Junos, where are you going to go now? Okay, Mika with his nade. All right, Junos going to slide on the right at the bottom. If that nade from Mika can land on Junos, that would be perfect.
So hard to land those nades here with so many angles. Face. Okay. Left, right, center. He's been surrounded. There's nowhere out for them. But he jump shot it! No way!
Beautiful by Momo. Get Victoria's pull off a clutch here. Victoria's in MR5 now. Left with MR5 against Flax OP. 1v1. Let's see if they can do it. And both of these players are on the outside.
We shotgun outshine the other. Do you still go for the DBS? Or the F series is better?
Bam.
It's definitely not a DBS game. Flax had it. It was outplayed by the side of Union Lions. Face have to bow down at 5. But Shinos managed to counter with gigs. They got the upper hand at first. He clutched it by himself.
Wait a second, Choo-Choo. Look at this. GE top 3 full squad 4v2 v1 GE. This is the moment for the wildcard region.
The first time to get a chicken. No way they will do this in the wrong resort by the end of the day, right? There's no way they just make a mistake that we did not anticipate. Please don't do this. It's not very healthy for our hearts. But for GE, they have all conditions ticked. It's they're supposed to take, but we've seen them make a blunder before. I just hope it didn't happen again, but for GE, not impossible, doable. All they need to do is just wait it out for Box and Yudu Alliance fighting against each other. Just wait for the right timing.
It is the first time I put the same team in my prediction 2 days in a row. And come on, GE, don't fail me this time. GE, we got Box, we got Yudo Alliance, but Flax will finish off Junos. So now it's GE against 2 from Yudo Alliance, the last team to go.
Kenny and Flax just going to toss around the nade on each of the entry. They got themselves the warehouse. It's going to be 2 in and out, and that's it. The back side or the front side. For GE, they got the containers. They're not being pressured by the Blues, and they're just waiting for the time for Yudo Alliance to push on their side. They need to move first. Yudo Alliance definitely in a disadvantage. You know exactly where to stand for GE, but can they finish and wrap things around it?
Okay, holding my breath still right now. But then again, Yudo Alliance, they are a formidable team. They can overcome this too. 2 nades been prepped out by Yudo Alliance, but no position. Oh, Master Ichi! 1 knockdown. Where's going to come in from the left? Ichi will be taken over the zone, so his point will be denied. Flax winning the clutch is out against 3 from GE, and it's GE! Finally, chicken dinner! And everyone from the wildcard has won for their soul!
Not the cleaners. They still managed to contribute 1 point to the side of Yudo Alliance in the last minute, but nonetheless, the first ever chicken. Is that first, right? The first ever chicken from GE.
It is their first, and they complete the wildcard cycle. Oh man, finally GE. This is a week that they have shown improvement as compared to last week. They will not go down without a fight. They will not be in the bottom 4 GE is here to stay, and they want you to see them in the grand finals.
I do want to see the numbers of eliminations, but for GE, this is a morale boost for them, a huge one at that. They needed the entire week to keep it going. They start to slow down for a bit when it comes to yesterday's performance, now coming back stronger. For the entire week of week 2, we have to give it to West. He always being such a formidable player, finding those spots to open up the entry for the rest of the team.
You know what? When we talk about the other teams that was at the bottom last week, this week's still at the bottom. GE is the role model now.
Yeah.
They came from the wildcard region, a region that people don't talk about, but they tell themselves that they will not be the bottom, that they will be the grand finals. Man, I'm so proud of GE.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like in PMSL or Southeast Asia League, we so helped to get GE on the lineup, and they are one of the teams that barely make it in Southeast Asia League. Well, it is one of their first few, and they can put up a standard way better than the teams that have been playing a long time in Southeast Asia League. You have to agree to that because it just showed across the board now, Cloud.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, from number 20, and now they are slowly rising up. They want to get into page 1. They were in page 1 at some point. They'll be knocking back into page 1 with this sort of performance. But of course, let's not forget, this time around, as compared to Pasija EVOS, FaZe Clan did better. I think that FaZe Clan does close the gap a little bit more. I need to look at the overall scores later on. It's nice to see Box Gaming up there as well. Up and down performance for them. But at least Box Gaming, with this level of performance, we should be able to see them in the grand finals later.
But for me personally, I got a bit emotionally damaged just now from the fight of Alter Ego versus Vampire Esports. Rosemary had swim over early and have been guarding and kept them at their toes for the entirety of Vampires by himself. He bought so much time, he's stalling, but the rest of Alter Ego, the moment they dock over the other side and swim over, they couldn't pull off those trigger right. He got knocked down, the ability to trade, and Rosemary, the rest of Alter Ego died in vain. That was the most devastating time for me. If you're in the shoes of Rosemary during that time, you put so much work, but not enough.
Yeah, emotional damage. That's how they say it. In Asia, at least. Well, I guess that kind of tells the story that how important Rosemary is. Like him opening up the fight, he always being at the forefront, he always taking those chances. And his teammates need to follow up with him. There are many times that we saw that, okay, Rosemary takes it on by himself, his teammates come a little bit later, sometimes on point, sometimes it's not. There's something to fine-tune there for our people.
But honestly speaking, it just shows that no matter how strong you are as a player, you try to keep them at bay. It's still a team game. In the end of the day, still you need all four men to pull off their own weight here. I just hope for the teams that do have their star player really pushing so much work and putting out so much effort for the team, the rest of them need to play catch up. They have to match the standards now, because it's not, if not that, then it's really tough for them to just rely on that one player to pull it off the entire day.
Okay. Irregardless, whether it's 6 eliminations, whether it's 2 eliminations, whether it's 10 eliminations, GE still got the chicken dinner with the most points collected in this round. So well-deserved GE. Great to see them up there with the poster. Man, this is definitely something. This is a role model, try hard, wanting to come back performance from GE. Judo Alliance, 14 points, the only 2 teams with a double-digit finisher. But CJ EVOS, just as they were hot, tend to cool down a little bit this round.
Surprisingly, a lot of 9s in total point this round. Even though it's different when it comes to rank eliminations, but there's like 3 teams getting a 9. You reverse the 9 to 6, which is gonna be Gixley or RRQ. BTR 2 times in a row, if I'm not mistaken, they actually didn't get too much of a point. For the entire day, it's just really tough for them. PBE now back in the corner where they're being stuck down there. But when it's important, it's going to be the weekly rankings here. Speaking of Procedure EVOS, stretching the margin even more, it's going to be 20 points in between Hill and Procedure EVOS. But FaZe, can they catch up here to a side of Procedure? Now, the gap is just way too much from the third to the first.
With, let's see, 6 games in hand. Ooh, but we haven't seen the best of FaZe Clan just yet, as they came back into the game ever since their break yesterday. I'm really liking GE. Just look at this. They're back at page 1, same amount of points with Euro Alliance.